Today I'm going to show you how to build this floating cross, but more importantly, I'm going to show you everything you need to build floating anything. Now, there were multiple requests in the comments for me to make one of these and send it to people. I would much rather a local woodworker get that business than myself shipping stuff across the world. So I'm following it up with this video that's going to be a lot more dialed, and I'm going to be building this one, which was a request, but not abroad. It was a local request. So that's what we're going to be doing today, building this, but covering everything you need to know. All right, so the important things that we need to cover first is the magnet. You want it to be an N52, half an inch round, and at least 3/8 of an inch tall. This one is half an inch tall. And when I have it at a 1 inch gap, it's kind of just sitting there. It's still being pulled, but can pull very nicely at half an inch where you don't have to worry about it falling off. The next really important thing you need is either magician's thread or fishing wire. You're gonna want it to be clear. Now this is rated for 20 pounds, so it's a little bit thicker, but you can get away with 10 pounds and that will work just fine. But at a distance on a shelf, you're about 4 feet away and you can hardly see the wire. Next, you're gonna wanna use a 1/2 inch Forstner bit. If you do not have one, you can get away with a 1/2 inch bit. I did that with my first one and it turned out just fine. All right, now whatever object you have floating, it doesn't matter what it is, a cross, a Peterbilt, either one, you're gonna want a space between the walls. Otherwise it won't be able to turn and it'll hit. So based on that, my space is 1 inch larger than the length of my object in both directions. And that gives me a nice reveal on all sides. Now you can see that I have a groove right here, and that's where my fishing line goes through, and it's actually just wrapped around the screw that goes into this leg, and it just gets pulled tight, and that's how I get it here. All right, so I do have a few more tips spread out throughout the rest of the video that will just kind of help with assembly, but this is the main thing that you need to know. So now we're gonna get on to actually building this one right here. I originally wanted to do a 1.5 inch border, but I do not have enough material to do that. So from one side left to right, I measured in 1 inches, and then 7.5 inches, and then 8.5 inches, and I drew lines up all of those points. That will give me 6.5 inches of space in between a 1/2 inch reveal, as my cross itself is 5.5 inches across. I made a mark at 8.5 inches and 9.5 inches. I then marked those all the way across as well. This is so I could leave a 1/2 inch reveal on the top and bottom of my frame and a thickness of 1 inch. I then did all of my measurements for the cross on the inside, but here's the measurements that I used. The cross is 7.5 inches tall. I measured down from the top 2.25 inches, and that will be the top of the intersection of the cross. The arms will go out 2.25 inches in both directions, keeping the thickness the same. So now I'm going over to the bandsaw and I'm cutting all of it out. I have a 1/4 inch blade, so I can do pretty tight radiuses, but I'm not overly skilled with the bandsaw, so it took me a little while to do this. So while I am doing this, if you can do me a huge favor, like and comment on the video, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video or want to check out some of my other smaller projects. I've got lots to look at. Thank you. Let's move on. And then I had to do some sanding just to clean up all of my radiuses and such. Find the center of whatever you're hanging it from, mark it, punch it, and then drill a 1/2 inch hole and make sure it's more than 1/2 inch deep. Now, a quick tip for your magnets: if you take your 2 magnets, stick them together, mark the outsides of each one of those. When you place it in the hole, make sure the marked end is the end that goes inside first. A bit of CA glue, and I used a clamp to push it in there. It usually makes it nice and flush. I wanted to add a decorative groove to add a little bit more depth, so I used these rabbiting bits, I believe they are, with different sized bearings to do the outside and the inside, and I just used my router table. That is definitely safe, and I definitely don't recommend that you do this, but you do you. I marked the center of the top and bottom of my cross before doing the really tiny chamfer that I like to do around the cross. Then I drilled a 1/2 inch hole on the top of my cross, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it. threw some glue into the hole, and then tapped the top that I marked, and then put that end into the hole and clamped it in there. Using scrap walnut, I cut it to size, added a decorative chamfer on the top and bottom, leaving a small space to have a decorative flow into the frame. Next, I pre-drilled holes to attach the frame to the bottom, and then I lined it up and drilled through that hole into the frame. I found the center of the bottom and pre-drilled a 16-inch hole. I chiseled a groove to one of my screw holes, and then I started attaching the frame to the bottom. After that, I went back to the cross and I drilled that 1/8-inch hole in the bottom of the cross, and then I added some glue, put my fishing line in there, and then gave it a quick spray to harden it up. I use a 1/2-inch setup block to put in between the two magnets, and then I take the fishing line that's fed through the bottom, I wrap it around one of my screws, and then I gently screw that in, and you should have it sitting perfectly in the middle where you want it. It may require some adjustment. And then all that was left was to finish the project off with some oil. I use mineral oil. That's my go-to. I'm simple like that. I think it looks nice, but you use whatever you want to. Now, if you made it to the end, thank you very much. I hope you liked this video, and leave a comment on what you think of the project. And I highly recommend that you try the project, because it's actually a really neat concept. And once you do it once, you have a whole bunch of ideas for different things that you can do that are a little bit different, and it kind of broadens the horizon that is your woodworking ability, I think. So I highly recommend this project. And if there is nothing else, as always, I will see you in the next one.